team. How about them Cowboys, Dave? How about them Cowboys?
Well, first things first. You trade with San Francisco, who has more picks than anybody in the entire freaking draft, and all you get out of them is one draft pick to let them jump 13 spots to take a guy that fills a position of need for your own team.
Eric Reed. They took safety out of LSU. Eric Reed. Sniped you.
What are you doing? I understand interior line is an issue for the Cowboys. Every person and their mother says you can get starting offensive linemen in the second, in the third, in the fourth, in the fifth, in the sixth. You can get starting O-linemen in all these rounds. But let's trade back 13 spots to let a team that was one play from winning a Super Bowl, let them jump up to take a guy that fills a position of need on your own damn team. Oh, and they're in your conference, by the way. AKA, you got to get through them if you want to make it to a Super Bowl.
Dave, tell us how you really feel.
How much you want to bet that kid they drafted at safety if the Cowboys made the playoffs this year picks Romo to the house in the fucking
wins
playoffs?
The game in overtime.
How much you want to bet?
In overtime, wins the game. It's a wrap.
Are you kidding me? What the hell are you thinking? Only one pick and it's a third rounder?
Hey, it's a good third round pick, though. It's not like it's like the 31st pick in the third round. It's like a mid-third round pick.
Minnesota gave away their children to go draft an unknown wide receiver because he's fast and got big hands. And Dallas gets one pick out of a team that has 13 picks.
Hey, man. Minnesota didn't come knocking on Dallas's door being like, yo, we need the 31. We need it. Hello.
I couldn't believe it. I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, I know you need a starting center. I know you do. And like my one friend texts me, he's like, "Hey man, don't stress that pick. It's a good pick. Those Wisconsin boys always make it."
I'll give him that. Yeah, if he's a Wisconsin guy, then yeah.
He went to Wisconsin and he was born and raised in Wisconsin.
Dude, he's a big boy. Oh, he's gonna be a good lineman.
So
then he's
I'm
a big
like,
farm
all
boy.
right. Well, I can see where you're coming with that. But based on what the reactions of Mel Kiper, where he's like, I had like a third round grade
tag on him.
You're like, all right, well, if Kiper had a third round grade, that means most people, the best grade they gave him was a second round grade. The worst was probably a fifth round grade, fourth round grade. So, in other words, you took a guy you didn't have to take at that spot.
You don't know that, though. That's the best part about the draft. You don't know how any of these players are going to do.
You know what I know?
What do you know?
You handed San Francisco a starting safety for one pick.
You know what was great, though? When it came down to Pittsburgh's pick, they had it in ASAP.
Oh, yeah.
ASAP, bro, because Jarvis Jones fell to them at 17. And as soon as I don't know who picked at 16, I do forget. But as soon as their pick was over with, it was already in. They knew they were getting their other outside linebacker since James Harrison was cut and released off of their team.
Oh, yeah.
They knew it. Now they
dove at Jarvis Jones.
Yeah.
Dove at him.
Yeah.
No hesitation at all. And I like that pick for Pittsburgh.
I do too.
I mean, that's another thing. I mean, I can sit here. I'll tell you right now, one of my favorite picks of the entire draft for two different reasons, Tavon Austin going to St. Louis. Reason number one being they jumped in front of the Jets because they figured the Jets were going to take him at 9. So they jump in front of the Jets to get him and avoid the Jets from being able to get him. And number two, you fill a major hole with the fact that you lost Danny Amendola. Maybe Austin actually stays healthy for you for 16 games. And then all of a sudden you got yourself a hell of a little slot wide receiver. And you give Bradford a solid weapon. And they added Joe Thomas in the offseason, so hopefully Bradford stays – or Jake Long, sorry. You add Jake Long in the offseason, so you hope they can keep Bradford a little healthier. I really, really like the Tavon Austin pick by St. Louis. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good pick.
I wasn't sure because when I first said it, I felt him look at me. I'm like, uh-oh.
No, I agree with you. I think it's a very good pickup for St. Louis. They needed a weapon. He's a guy that, like you, I think you just said, plays a lot like Percy Harvin-esque. Guy you could put in the slot, a guy you could line up in the backfield, a guy who could play outside. Speed, has a ton of speed. I like the pick there. I like them trading up. I like them being aggressive to go up and get him. Because,
I do too.
That's what they needed to do. And I like the way that they sniped him. So the Jets
sniped him, bro. Literally
really
sniped him.
But it's not like the Jets were probably going to draft him anyway.
We will never know.
Pretty much just took him from one of the other teams behind the Jets.
We will never know.
I will say, shout out to Louis Primo, puts in a chat. He says Vikings had great picks. Primo, I'll tell you one thing, man. I'm a fan of their first two, but
until that last pick where you gave up your whole draft to get that kid, that last wide receiver, that's not worth it.
Yeah, that one I don't understand.
Who's the wide receiver again?
Cordarrelle
the other Tennessee
from
Tennessee.
Obviously
you've never watched him play. He's pretty good.
No, I understand that he is pretty good, but would you give up a second, a third, a fourth, and a seventh just for this kid? I don't think so.
If they thought he was going to be the difference maker they needed, maybe it's worth it in their mind. And to me, it wouldn't have been worth it to give up all those picks. If I'm the GM, I don't make that move. But they must have seen something in this kid. I know he's pretty good. I've watched him play a little bit because he is an SEC guy.
See, I just don't think Minnesota's like one or two picks away from being a Super Bowl contender.
I know about this guy.
I think with Percy Harvin healthy, they're a team that competes at least for that division. They're that type of playmaker on offense.
I'll say a wild card spot because I think Green Bay is above and beyond.
You say that, but that's only because you're putting so much stock in Aaron Rodgers.
It's a quarterback-driven league.
It's a quarterback-driven league, but look at what Adrian Peterson did last year in a quarterback-driven league. He's a beast. And then when Percy Harvin was healthy, especially early in the year, who was a hotter team than Minnesota? There were.
You're right. 5-1.
Yeah, you're right.
They had an unbelievable start, and then Percy Harvin got hurt, and things snowballed from there, and their record dropped as the year went on. But with a healthy Percy Harvin, they're a team that controls the clock. They control the flow of the game. They have a good enough defense, or they did last year, to at least keep games close enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I like what Minnesota's doing. I like you guys said, the first two draft picks. The third one, I think they just gave up too much to get him. I like the fact that they went and got him. I just think they gave up too much to get him.
That's where I'm on board with you, Eric. I'm the same way. I like the first two, and then the last one, I just think too much draft picks for that kid.
Well, that and the fact of the matter is, your first-round picks, you want and especially a guy that you're going to give up that much for to jump back up and take. You want these guys to be able to be starters.
They probably
on
are.
Your team. This Cordell Patterson guy is the only guy that I watched that I actually was when I watched him make the draft pick and they showed highlights. He's the only guy they showed highlights of where he had negative highlights.
Yeah, negative highlights. That's right.
They showed him running the wrong routes. They showed him going to the wrong spots, dropping passes.
Yeah, they're like, this pass right here could have won the game against, I don't know, Texas Tech.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's the only guy that I saw the entire first round get negative highlights played about him. So that's where I understand he's fast, he's athletic, that's awesome. But if you don't know how to run a route or read a defense as a wide receiver, you're pretty much just a body on the field.
They can teach you that, though.